And congrats to the NJXF for returning to physical trading. But let's look at the market where physical trading is not necessary. Talking about the crypto market, we see Bitcoin there formed a base and started a recovery wave above the 28,000 resistance zone. Bitcoin climbed above the 28,200 resistance zone to move into a short-term bullish zone. And we look at the index there, the fear greed index, showing market sentiment back to 64. Greed still playing in the market. The way traders use the fear greed index, when the market is fearful, that's when you look at adding to your portfolio. But when the market is greedy, that's when you should start looking at scaling out. So that's how you use this fear greed index, going forward. 64 points is what we're seeing today. Greed. Let's look at the top cryptocurrencies we track. We see Bitcoin at $28,487. It's up 1.68%. Did start that downward trend over the weekend. Everyone looking at the U.S. Fed today, going to set the rates for May. So I've seen Bitcoin already trying to react to all of that. And most of the cryptocurrencies we track here, Ethereum, $1,861, up 1.70%, almost 2% this morning. We see BNB, though, going the opposite direction, 0.42% down. And Cardano on change this morning at 8 a.m., 38 cents was trading at. But we see XRP, that's trying to make a big move up this morning also, following the trend we're seeing in the market, up 1.53% at 45 cents. That's what we're seeing for XRP this morning. So at the end of the day, traders are taking position at this time. What happens when the U.S. Fed meets later on today? Is it going to be 25 basis points, even though that's what's baked in at this point? So that might be priced in to the action we see, but there's still a lot of volatility in the crypto market. Bitcoin did cross that 30K level, but it's had some selling pressure from that level. Who knows? We might start another uptrend with this, with some investors there trying to buy some of those cheap coins. Let's bring in Olumide Adesina now, financial market analyst. Hello, Olumide. Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ladi. Good morning.
Yeah, so I do remember in 2022, we predicted that 2023 is going to be the year of regulation. And we're already seeing that playing out for the crypto industry. We've seen the Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission, they're considering allowing licensed digital exchanges to list tokens backed by certain assets. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, the Security Exchange Commission has been trying innovatively to really boost participation in our markets. You could recall that foreign market participation is at record low, probably because of our FX market conditions. And, the FX earnings coming from crude oil has deeply moderated. So regulators are looking ways to really boost in our capital mechanism. And one of the rightful ways was really liberalizing digital assets. Nigeria happens to be the biggest crypto market in Africa. A lot of young Nigerians really trade on these assets. So it was a no-brainer for regulators to see how they can bring those capabilities. So what the Securities Exchange Commission is talking about is that assets that are backed by debt, equity, or real estate definitely have underlying value, can be listed with authorized, and it will go through a demo period, I think for the first 10 months before there'll be an incubation period before it really gets out there. So yes, it really shows that the Security Exchange Commission definitely is having a liberal view towards digital assets. But major concerns still remain. These don't include the likes of the popular ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and those public blockchains we see. And that's pretty much because the Security Exchange Commission and the CBN have not been able to work around accepting these types of tokens, crypto assets, sorry. So those are tokens that they are really talking about. But the interesting thing is just that, we're seeing a current towards that approach.
And obviously, there's still some issues with the Central Bank of Nigeria. We know most central bankers globally are not fond of cryptocurrency because of its decentralized nature. But I know the SEC is still waiting on the CBN for clarification. What are you seeing in that interplay?
Yeah, I think the future for the crypto markets are still bright. If you look at the CBN's roadmap in terms of payment and staple coins were included, and that tells you that we're seeing future integration across that line. And you also recall that a lot of powerful banks, particularly those we're seeing in Western markets, including the ones in Saudi Arabia, are using XRP Ledger. That's a blockchain capability. So it tells you that the evolution of payment definitely will support these things. And I think the Apex Bank also has included that in their roadmap. But Nigeria happens to be quite conservative in taking all those things. But what is triggering the hopes of many stakeholders in the industry is the president-elect mentioned the fact of boosting blockchain capabilities. His body language definitely will be all eyes to see on how he would make that happen. Because right now, banks cannot trade crypto. Cannot have exposure in crypto assets or crypto exchanges. So that's pretty much really why the liquidity in that space has dampened. But if you look at it year to year, that has not really brought capital infusion to blockchain startups in Nigeria. We're seeing a number of blockchain startups also raising equity and venture capital. So it tells you that the future seems to be bright. But the body language of the president-elect in the first 6 months will really ascertain if that's really going to happen.
Yeah, we'll definitely be looking out for that. And talking about body language of governments now, we're seeing Italy, they're looking at a 26% tax on crypto gains, and Kenya also introducing 1.5% tax to crypto companies. It looks like the crypto industry is going to be taxed heavier than every other industry.
Yeah, because what they've seen is that a lot of young people, particularly Gen Z and millennials, have interestingly increased their exposure in these assets. And based on the decentralized nature, it's pretty much very difficult for them to capture transactions. So they're trying to do it 3 ways: trying to limit the growth in that industry, also trying as much as possible to monetize. And we've seen, but it's really a very complicated process, because you really need people of expertise to be able to track those transactions. And some of these assets are kept in self-custody where that does not have any ID, or it's very difficult. So the MECA law, and the US roadmap on crypto regulation also definitely would play in on how these things will happen. But definitely, yes, we are seeing a surge in regulation towards that era, and concerns by global central banks on crypto assets.
It'll be very interesting to see what crypto tax in Nigeria will look like, but we'll definitely be looking forward to that. But today is the D-Day. U.S. Fed is meeting for another rate-setting meeting. What's the best way to play this market today? Everyone's already, the consensus is 25 basis points.
Yeah, but the consensus is 25 basis points, but the appeal by political heavyweights like Senator Warren, and some conservatives in the Democratic Party and Republic just tells you that the market contagion is really going on the high. You call that the US Fed's interest rate hike has really affected banks, and we've seen 2 banks already going on that. But based on numbers, you see that the US Fed is not an emotional entity, and they are really set out the mandate of reducing inflation as low as possible. So it's really very unadvisable to be over leverage in this kind of environment, particularly in an area where you see liquidity crunch. The US Fed last month reduced their balance sheet by $95 billion, and they kept on accelerating. So apart from increasing interest rates, they are also mopping out liquidity, and that does not really spell for the longer play for crypto assets. So investors that really want to hold those positions should keep in things they can afford to lose and have a long-term play in this asset.
And looking at the US again, we know they have that debt limit issue, trying to get that debt limit raised, and they're going to hit that in June. How is all of that playing into markets, from equities, global equities market, even into crypto?
Yeah, exactly. Just like you rightly said, we've seen the fact that a lot of investors have been moving stash inflows of their currencies to safe market, and that's why we've seen African sovereign bonds from Kenya to Egypt and now Nigeria having depressed positions. But having said that, it has also weighed heavily on riskier assets, particularly altcoins. Bitcoin seems to be immune. It has been able to stay in that support between the 27,800 to 29 for a couple of days. And that's pretty much because a lot of investors are using that asset to hedge against banks. But having said that, I think it's fair to say that we are in an era where liquidity crunch will definitely affect risky assets in the long run. And that's why we've seen gold breaking above the $2,000 mark. A lot of investors are hedging and keeping away from risky assets, with T-bills, especially US T-bills, offering a yield of 5%. It makes little sense to invest in risky assets right now. And that's why risky assets right now seems to be very uninteresting.
Yeah, risk assets, very uninteresting. But we also know that cash also has this uninteresting appeal too. So what do you think is going to happen, going forward? That limit, if it's not actually increased, even though everyone believes that they're going to increase that, debt limit going forward, don't you think it's going to be bullish for Bitcoin?
Definitely, it will, but it will very unlikely be. I think common sense will prevail. I think Republicans will give Joe Biden the 1.5 trillion increase, at least bare minimum. But if that doesn't happen, definitely assets like Bitcoin will take advantage, because definitely we're going to see mispriced in dollar assets and a moderation in their market, and definitely we'll see outflow. And I don't think the Americans will want to play into the Chinese hands with the way the dollarization is working right now. So I think the political angle will be fixed. But in the longer run, I think the crypto market still has high survivability, because with regulation coming into play, and the fact that Coinbase has also announced the launching of an international exchange, tells you the future still remains strong for digital assets.
I will definitely be watching if Bitcoin still has legs to run in May, if it's not a situation of a sell in May and go away. Thank you so much, Olumide Adesina, financial market analyst. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's head on to the markets back again. Let's see how the top gainers are looking this morning. Let's see, we see STX topping that counter, double-digit gainer there, 13.16%. For the past few days, not been seeing double-digit gains on the top 100 cryptocurrencies we track on CoinMarketCap. Then we see Optimism, that's starting an upward movement there, 2.18%, trading at $2.15. Did fall as low as $2.10 after getting to a high of about $2.60. And we see CRO, that's trading at 7 cents, up 1.87%. Let's look at the top losers now on this morning in the crypto market. We see VeChain, one of the top 100s there, 2 cents, down 3.50%. It's not really moved much. We've not seen a narrative that's ready to push VeChain up just yet. IMX, 91 cents, down 2.29%. CMakerDAO also showing up on the top losers counter after showing up on the gainers counter yesterday. It's down 2.03%. And we see NEO, 2.01% down, and Flare Token, 2 cents, 1.86%. So still a lot of volatility in the market. Now, all eyes on the US Fed for their rates meeting today. Who knows? Maybe the market might actually have some kind of pump after that. Anyway, that's how the markets are looking today. Don't forget to join us at 1:30 for Business Incorporated for more updates and developments in the world of business. And remember, you can watch this again on our YouTube channel. Just flip over to YouTube, search for Channel Television. You can watch all our productions on the videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ladi Williams. Bye-bye.